Coming up on Mountain News at 6.
From the Big Sandy to the Cumberland Valley.
Challenging 10-hour period.
Floodwaters overwhelm eastern Kentucky.
Oh God, I'm stuck.
Leading to dramatic rescues.
To save my animals. They're all I got.
Police also find a woman dead outside a church.
This has just sickened everyone. I mean, never has anything like this happened.
The circumstances surrounding her death, a mystery.
Localized flooding issues continue into this evening. A wintry mix is possible for tomorrow morning.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening on this very busy Sunday. I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Neil Middleton. Tonight, our dedicated weather team is tracking the threat for wintry weather and more rain through the week.
Going to stay busy. Already today, of course, river flooding has closed roads throughout eastern Kentucky, and brave crews have rescued many in need.
Now, we have a team of reporters covering some of the hardest hit areas.
But first, Chief Meteorologist Andrew Dockery has an update on those river levels. Andrew? Water flowed through the roads of one Harlan County community earlier today, leaving a path of damage behind. That's where we find WYMT's Justin Case. He's there live to give us a look at the destruction. Justin?
Steve, it is loud, it is wet, and the rain is continuing to fall here in Harlan County. This community is one of the hardest hit by flooding.
Steve, now you can see the flooding's toll all across Harlan County, but like I said, here in Lynch, it's this scene right behind me where a broken mine shaft sent water running down Main Street that I stand right next to. Now, the only thing separating the side that I stand on and the other side, 3 steel plates. Live in Harlan County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
A heroic rescue played out around 6 this morning in Perry County. People were trapped inside their homes by nearly 5 feet of floodwaters. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked to the family and captured some dramatic moments. Now this is some more incredible drone video of Cumberland Falls near the Whitley-McCreary County line. As we said earlier, the Cumberland River is nearing a crest in Whitley County. Earlier today, WYMT's Connor James went around Williamsburg looking at the flooding with Mayor Roddy Harrison. He joins us now live from the falls. Connor?
Steve, as you can see behind me, the water in the Cumberland River is raging.
Well, Knott County's Judge Executive Zach Weinberg issued a state of emergency today. The Heinemann Settlement School director says while no buildings were damaged on their campus, flooding caused severe land erosion all through campus and nearly took out a supporting base for the iconic pedestrian footbridge. Now on WYMT.com you can find information about how you can help them. Well, some in Knox County say it is the most water they have seen there in decades. Here is some pretty incredible drone video sent to us today from Ben Childers. Flooding closed roads, kept some in their homes, and it's been blamed for water outages across the Cumberland Valley region. Miles away in Frakes, a massive mudslide closed a major roadway. It could take 2 weeks or longer to reopen Kentucky 74. We continue our live team coverage in Pineville with WYMT's Justin Case. Justin?
Steve and Neil, there are 8 sets of floodgates throughout the city of Pineville, and as you can see here behind me, these floodgates on 25 remain open. Connor James joining me now, and Connor, I just got off the phone with Mayor Maiden not too long ago, and he says that he feels confident even with the rain tonight they will not be forced to close the floodgates, but he says other factors could still pose threats for people in the area.
Yeah, roadways are going to be one of those threats. Earlier in between Middlesboro and the Frakes community, a landslide took out part of Kentucky 74, closing that road.
Mother Nature takes aim at eastern Kentucky, leaving behind damage from the Big Sandy to the Cumberland Valley. Crews had to save 2 people in Breathitt County who found themselves in the river.
Roads are closed and people are saying it's the highest water they've seen in decades in parts of southeastern Kentucky.
Localized flooding issues continue into tonight, and our forecast, it remains soggy. The severe weather alert day continues now at 6.
dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening again. Today, damage assessment started across the region following the serious weekend flooding. There is also still a flooding threat in a few areas, including Whitley County. The Cumberland River continues to rise there. It's expected to crest sometime this evening, maybe in the next 30 minutes or so. You're looking live at a very swollen Cumberland Falls. We have WYMT's Connor James there, and we'll hear from him in just a few minutes. But let's begin with WYMT Chief Meteorologist Andrew Dockery. Well, we got a little bit of time to dry out today, but unfortunately it doesn't sound it's going to last too long.
Yeah, I wish we could have got some sunshine mixed in too.
Yeah, it was cold.
We were in cold conditions and cloudy skies all day long. You take a look at pinpoint Doppler and you could see.
Well, during the flooding, several people arriving at church in Knox County found a woman dead.
Police call this case right now an active death investigation. Not sure flooding even played a role. They have not ruled out foul play either. WYMT's Krista Frost joins us now live with the developing details on this. Krista?
Steve, Neil, church services were obviously let out once church members found this body.
Coming up on Mountain News at 11, with the new year just minutes away, doctors warned to be on the lookout for flu symptoms. And donut lovers may have got an unwelcome sight when they saw a Krispy Kreme truck up in flames.
And the rain chances continue even as we head into 2019. A look at the 7-day forecast is coming up.
Here's some more information we learned today about Officer Hamilton. He was a graduate of Shelby Valley High School in Pike County. Now, just a couple of streets over from the Pikeville Police Department sits a memorial for fallen officers. It only bears 2 names right now from Pikeville PD, but of course soon Scotty's name will be etched in history as everyone who knew him keeps his memory alive.
It's with a heavy heart. The City of Pikeville has announced that Officer Scotty Hamilton was shot and killed tonight in the line of duty.
Just something you just can't wrap yourself around.
This family needs your support. Our police family needs your support, and we're thankful for the great turnout that we have tonight.
Now, here's a little more information about Officer Scotty Hamilton we have gathered this week. He served the city of Pikeville at the police department right behind me for about 12 years. Officer Hamilton played baseball and football at Shelby Valley High School, where he graduated from. Hamilton, as you heard from just a moment ago, leaves behind a wife, Chelsea. They just celebrated their 5th anniversary. Scotty and Chelsea also had a daughter 9 months ago. They named Brinley Elizabeth. Now, following Officer Hamilton's funeral, his procession ended at the Pikeville Cemetery, which is just above us here. We can actually still see them working up there as we speak. His casket, draped in an American flag, sat as he was honored with the playing of bagpipes and a 21-gun salute. Officer Hamilton's wife was handed a folded American flag, and we heard his last call. Welcome back live to downtown Pikeville, where the sun will soon set on a day this city will not soon forget. You know, earlier in the week, I mentioned a quote, and it bears repeating tonight. Washington Irving once said, "There is a sacredness in tears. They are not a mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are the messengers of overwhelming grief, of deep contrition, and of unspeakable love." Many tears were shed today across this community and across the mountains, including some from this reporter. We end tonight with a look back at this week's events through the words of Pikeville native and our WYMT Assistant News Director, Kyle Collier. Good night, everyone. As daylight faded into night Tuesday,
It's with a heavy heart the City of Pikeville has announced
it was hard to imagine what the next day would bring. A cloudy, snowy day.
That Officer Scotty Hamilton was shot and killed tonight in the line of duty.
Flags flying at half-staff. Still a chill in the air when winter turns to spring, new life blossoms, but not this week.
So when you hurt one, you hurt us all.
No, instead death took a man so many cared for, loved, respected.
There's a strong bond with fellow law enforcement officers.
A man admired.
Everybody looked up to him. I myself looked up to him.
A pause Wednesday afternoon brought sorrow.
Lord, we come to you today and we ask you, oh God.
A procession no one hopes to ever see.
I hope they will remember that he was such a great family person and that he was just such a great leader.
A fallen hero honored.
I want people to know that Scotty was a fine young man, a fine city police officer, one of the best.
As time pressed on, our community came together.
Comfort their broken hearts on this cold and sad day.
Prayers going up everywhere.
I did it to honor him. He deserves so much more.
But our compassion will not allow tragedy to define who we are, what we are as one. Still, most of us sit wondering why. Answers likely will evade us.
We're thankful for the great turnout that we have tonight.
But now you've heard of Officer Scotty Hamilton. Here he is in high school, full of life. Again, a little more than 5 years ago, embracing his wife. And again, this time with his baby girl. He was passionate about his job, right up until his final call. As Officer Hamilton's body sat in the Expo Center, he was never alone. As people came and went to pay their respects, the honor guard stood by his side. Members of several police agencies from Pikeville were among those guard members. Now, following the funeral, people lined the streets of Pikeville. Police flanked either side of Officer Hamilton's hearse as the procession took him on one final patrol of the city. WYMT's Krista Frost is live to share that side of this celebration of life. Krista?
I talked to a lot of people who were not able to make it into the funeral because it was just so jam-packed, so they actually watched the funeral on their phones instead, waiting for the procession to start. Now, some of those people told me that they actually knew Scotty because he arrested them, but they said he was just such a good officer, such a good man, they had to show their respects somehow. Live in Pike County, Krista Frost, WYMT Mountain News.
Krista, thank you. Now, the day following Scotty's murder, Wildcat Warehouse in Pikeville shared a shirt they designed in his memory. People lined up the following day to get one. The shirt reads, "Husband, Father, Hero, Integrity, Service, Courage." You can still get one at the store in Pikeville and online. They cost $15, and all the proceeds go to his wife and daughter. We also want to let you know about a trust fund that's been set up for his daughter. You can make donations to the Brinley Elizabeth Hamilton Scholarship Fund at Community Trust Bank. The address is P.O. Box 2947, Pikeville, Kentucky 41502. WYMT's Taylor Frost joining me now again, and we are in front of the memorial that's been set up now for quite a while since this tragedy happened earlier this week, where people continue. Somebody came by and left a rose just as we were going on the air. It's been like that all week, yeah. Yeah, you've been in this community. You're not from Eastern Kentucky. You've been here a little more than a year. Tell me what you have seen from this community in the last week that's really stuck out to you.
Steve, I could tell you so much right now, but it has just been an outpouring of support. Everywhere you look, you see blue from this memorial right here to the streets of downtown Pikeville. It's just amazing how everybody has come out.
Well, Officer Scotty Hamilton, Unit 111, ended his duty with the Pikeville Police Department on March 13th, 2018. He was only 35 years old. Hundreds of people also said their final goodbyes to a Louisville police officer killed in the line of duty. Today, family, friends, and hundreds of officers from around the country honored Detective Deidre Mengadote. She died on Christmas Eve after a semi hit her cruiser on I-64, causing it to burst into flames. Her friends talked at her funeral this afternoon. The man police say killed 3 people in Leslie County earlier this month will appear in court Wednesday. A grand jury indicted Paul Douglas Sizemore with 3 counts of murder along with a host of other charges. Police say after killing the 3 members of the Bowling family, Sizemore then shot at another man and at a state trooper. At a hearing last week, at Wednesday's hearing rather, Sizemore will enter a plea in circuit court. Good evening again. We continue to follow the breaking developments in a fatal crash. We first learned about this crash just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. It happened near the AEP power plant in Lawrence County, that is just north of Louisa on US 23, the heavily traveled US 23. We do have a reporter at the scene, but emergency crews have asked her to stay in the car for now. Now, this is a picture she sent us a short time ago of emergency vehicles. One lane is open, we're told, going both south and northbound. You can also take US 52 to bypass the crash. Now, we still do not know how many cars were involved or the number of victims, but one source told us it appears there are multiple people injured or killed. Now, despite that, Kentucky is on track to have the lowest number of highway fatalities in 4 years. Take a look at these numbers. In 2014, there were 639 deaths on Kentucky's roads, but the number kept climbing in 2015 and 2016. But in 2017, the number dropped to 763. And according to Kentucky State Police, with a week left in the year, the number was at 691 for 2018. And unfortunately, that number is going to go up after today.